Okay, well, we may as well get started. So the first thing, so welcome Elman, who I think we all know, except Vicky. Do you know Vicky? I think Vicky, you're the only one we haven't met before, so welcome. Might have seen you on Zooms before. And Ange and Claire are consultants with us as well. So today I wanted to show you guys our pizza oven, and in partnership with the Thermomix, of course. We've got a collection in Cookie Doo, which I might have time to show you later, which is the pizza oven collection. And it has a pizza sauce, the Neapolitan dough, and then I'm going to make for you my favorite gluten-free pizza base that goes well in a pizza oven, and which doesn't overburn, because some gluten-free bases will burn in the pizza oven. And also just the basic pizza dough for those that are time poor and want to have really easy to handle dough. So I will just wash my hands. I haven't done that yet. And so the first thing we're going to make, so Elman's just sort of going to help out wherever she's needed.
Camera woman.
Camera woman. And I've just got the basic pizza dough, which is what we do in our cooking experiences, and it's called pizza dough. So making this one for easy handling. As you can see, I've got my glider board, which I absolutely love and highly recommend to anybody who has a Thermomix. So 220 grams of lukewarm water. That maybe is a little bit hot. Oh, no, it's fine.
If it's too hot, it will kill your yeast.
Right, I do not want that. I won't worry about the sugar in this one, but the sugar does help feed the yeast, and what I learned the other day, it helps create that carbon dioxide in the dough, which helps it aerate. So 2 teaspoons of dry yeast. And it's just going to mix it up for me and heat it. No, it's not heat it. It's at 37 degrees. Perfect. Cleaned my kitchen for you guys today. Cleaned out my pizza oven because my husband left it in a little bit of a state, which I'll show you shortly. You can see it in that other picture. And see that table my pizza oven's sitting on? That was like a outdoor table like thing that opened out into a seat. And then it got broken, and he literally turned it into this thing that sits on the side of the house with my pizza stuff. So I was really impressed, actually. Okay, so this is just baker's flour. You can buy your baker's flour from anywhere. You do want baker's flour though, because it's got a high protein content. The better quality the flour, so the 00 stuff, the longer you can prove your dough for. So I learned that recently as well. When I was going to make the Neapolitan, ideally you want to prove it for 3 days to get the best result, but you've got to buy the 00 flour. So I didn't have any of that, so 3 days did not work. A little bit of olive oil. It's not enough.
It's almost enough.
Almost, yeah. And a teaspoon of salt. Got my little salt pig. So I'm sure you guys make pizza dough at home. Any favorites? What are your favorite doughs that you make? Hi, Susan, welcome.
I use a dough that's got, it's a semolina based dough. So it uses some semolina and some baker's flour as well.
Yeah.
So it just makes it that little bit more crispier.
Yeah, that's actually one I'm also going to make. The Neapolitan one in the pizza collection does that one. So yeah, it's a bit stickier though, isn't it? Harder to handle. But you're the expert. So for you, it's probably like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a little bit stickier than most doughs, but yeah, if you're used to handling it, it's kind of normal for me.
Yeah. So I've got this, my thermomat. If you don't have one of these, highly recommend, especially for working on your bench with doughs and pastries and that sort of thing. I love my glider board when I'm kneading. So the general rule is if your Thermomix is on the edge of a bench, you don't walk away with it from it when it's kneading, but I find with the glider board, it holds it in place. And it's really sturdy. You just want to make sure if you've got a stone bench and you've wiped it down, the glider board won't stay. So just make sure it's a dry bench before you do that. And I find with the thermomat as well, if you've got laminate bench tops, a little bit of wipe it down with a cloth and then put it down. If you've got stone, keep it dry and then put your thermomat down and it stays. So after this, I'm going to show you guys, did we say Neapolitan next?
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to move on to the Neapolitan dough, which is the one Claire mentioned. Hi, Liz. Lovely you could join us.
Hi, Liz.
Elman's with me.
I'm here.
So there you can see just the basic pizza dough. And anytime you want to release dough from your Thermomix, you just turn the little, what did Victoria call it? Little daisy.
Oh, the
She called it
daisy.
a daisy, which I thought was so sweet. So just the base of the blades, and that helps it come out. And you can see that here. It is quite a dry pizza dough. And so it's that's why it's easier to handle. So just roll it into a little bit of a ball. And then our thermomat's going to help us work that one. Thank you. So we'll put that somewhere nice to prove. All right, I'm just going to continue with this. I won't worry about cleaning that. And I'm going to come to the next one. So the next one is the Neapolitan dough. And the Neapolitan dough is the one that's ideal for, like Claire said, just that little bit of extra crispiness on the crust. And really good for the pizza oven. What am I going into? Recently cooked. And you'll find that one on Cookie Doo. It is just called Neapolitan Pizza. And it's also in the pizza oven collection. So lightly grease a bowl. We're going to add some olive oil. And let's bring out the next one. I've got about 5 bottles of olive oil in my cupboard. 320 grams of warm water. I'm gonna have pizza dough coming up my ears. Maybe, you know what I think I might do? Once I've made this one, I'm going to portion it into little balls and freeze it and just get it out on Thursday for my Friday pizzas. I am going to put a teaspoon of sugar in this one. Teaspoon of white sugar and a teaspoon of dry yeast. So I've got those ready to go. And this is one that asks for extra good quality baker's flour. So that's your 00 type flour. You can get, actually I've seen it in Costco. They've got a little bag. Can't remember the price. It's definitely a lot more expensive than the standard baker's flour. But it's designed for pasta and pizza. So if you go to Costco, that's probably the most cost-friendly place for that sort of flour. So 350 grams of that one. And the next part is adding a little bit of semolina. So 150 grams of fine semolina. Elman made this for her husband, Robert, and she thinks she used the coarser semolina and he didn't like it.
No, I will have to go to the finer one.
So this one is fine. And you also use semolina on the base when you're putting it into your pizza oven to stop it sticking.
Just a heads up as well, semolina is a lot cheaper if you go to the Middle Eastern stores. The bags are bigger and they're way, way cheaper.
Awesome. Thanks, Claire. Some sea salt. And I'll put my lid on. And that needs it for 2 minutes. So what I'm going to show you is this is the one I made earlier. So it does, I've used, this is actually compostable cling wrap. So just in case anyone's a little bit nervous that I'm using cling wrap, because I am. And it's been rising for a couple of hours. So that's quite proven. And I'm going to shape that for you guys soon. So once this one's done, I will actually probably put it back in. Oh, I'll put that aside and start with my next bowl. And I'm also going to make for you guys the gluten-free one. So that one's been proving as well. And so I will shape both of those for you very soon. And I can actually probably just put that on knead on the other Thermomix.
I can do that.
Thank you, Ellen. And get my next bowl. And let's head into the gluten-free pizza. So the one that I use and love, so I've played around with a whole bunch of different gluten-free pizzas. One of my favorites is the Quirky Cooking pizza base, but it's not great for the pizza oven. So, and it takes longer and makes a lot more. So I really have to have time to make that one. Friday nights is our pizza night, and I go off to the gym at 5 o'clock. So if I'm not organized, I can't get my pizza bases done in time. And so this is my quick go-to pizza base option for gluten-free. All right, so it does some milling and it's got some starch. So rice and starch and then a few other ingredients. So it's called gluten-free breakfast pizza. So write that down, but I will email you guys the recipes that I've done today. So we're going to start with brown rice, 100 grams of brown rice. I like that it's got a bit of whole grain in it as well. A lot of your gluten-free foods that you'll buy in supermarkets are really refined. So if you could put whole grains into your homemade baking through homemade gluten-free baking, it's much better for you. 100 grams of glutinous rice. Now you can buy glutinous rice. I didn't have any, so whenever I run out of glutinous rice, I just use sushi rice because it's got a higher sort of, it's not gluten, but it's got that stickiness. So it just means it's sort of a stickier rice. I've used normal basmati white rice before as well, which is actually better for you. But this will give you a slightly better texture. And then I'm going to mill that. So we're going to cut out for about 2 minutes while I mill the rice. All right, so that's 2 minutes of milling rice. Let me just show you guys what I've got in there. So you could use rice flour, but then you won't have the sort of sticky rice. 50 grams of potato starch. I actually ran out of potato starch, so I've got a little tiny bit left. But I also have sweet potato flour, so I'm just going to do the last 15 grams with sweet potato flour. It is quite a strong flavored flour, so I wouldn't recommend too much of that one. It will definitely change the flavor of your dough. It says gluten-free corn flour. I am just going to put in arrowroot because I buy arrowroot in 5 kilo bags and it's pretty much exactly the same texture. There you go, so 30 grams of that. A teaspoon of xanthan gum. This doesn't agree with everyone. It's a corn-based product. You can put in psyllium husks or ground chia seeds. It is a binding agent. So I find if you don't put it in and you don't have a replacement, it doesn't necessarily hold together as well. A couple of teaspoons of salt, or 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, so whatever you prefer. Tablespoon of white vinegar. And we're just going to put the lid on and mix that up for 5 seconds. It doesn't look like much yet, so that's that. It's asking for 20 grams of olive oil and 180 grams of warm water. You want to be careful not to go over quantities too much in anything with dough or pizza. A little bit of white sugar, which I'm not going to worry about in this one, and 2 teaspoons of dry yeast. I actually used some fresh yeast in the one I pre-made, which is probably why it's risen so much. But yeah, dry is just as good. Especially for gluten-free, you don't need that extra light fluffiness. It's not so much about it rising and being fluffy. It's about, that does make it nice. So what I've got on the mat here is the Neapolitan dough that I tipped out, and I just separated into 4. And I'm going to work that in a moment. All right, so let me just show you this. This is my gluten-free pizza dough. Anytime you make gluten-free, it's usually a batter. You'll rarely find that you'll have a ball of dough. I can handle it once it sort of absorbs a little bit. I can oil my hands and handle it. But yeah, you generally sort of do a lot of spreading with gluten-free pizzas. So I think the first thing is I'll actually shape the gluten-free pizza bases so I can put those in the oven to preheat, and then we'll head into putting 2 pizzas together. How's that sound? And I do need to make the pasta sauce. So I think I'll do the gluten-free base for you, show you that, get that in the oven, and then I'll make the pizza sauce and then head into shaping. Okay, so you do need baking paper. It actually works on a thermomat or an oven mat or something like that too. So just whatever you've got handy. I find this batch makes about 3 pizzas. Unless you want them really big, but I tend to just sort of keep them smaller. And it's really risen. The recipe says to shape it and then let it prove, but I actually find I like to prove it first and then shape it. So I could actually probably handle that one. I find once it's dried out a little bit, it's easier for me to shape it. So I just put a little bit of oil on my hands. And I can spread that out. Now, if I really want to make that super thin, what I would do is make sure it's got a layer of oil on it, put another piece on top, and then just grab my rolling pin and lightly roll it out. Not too hard, don't want to press too hard. I also love my French rolling pin. It doesn't squash the edges flat. It really evenly spreads the dough or pastry or whatever you're working with. So that's done. Peel off my baking paper. And then that's going to go on a pizza tray. Let me just grab that. Our mix shop has these are sort of the older ones, but the new ones are really thick and bigger. So you can do much bigger pizzas. So that's going to go in the oven to pre-bake. Probably for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll do the other ones later. I'm going to be busy making pizza dough all afternoon.
Yes.
That's right. Awesome. All right, Claire, you might need to help me with this one since you're the pizza expert. So one of the tips I've learned is you've got to make pizzas as you go. If you make all the bases and then cook them one at a time, they can get a bit soggy and heavy and harder to use the peel to put them in the oven. So you kind of want to make one, put it in the oven, cook it, close the door of the oven, pizza oven again, let it heat up, cook, make the next one. All right, so let me get a board. So these are also from our mix shop. These are the Ovana ones. They're bamboo, so I find them nice and light. And they've got sort of the edge that goes down thin, so it's easier to slide it into the pizza oven. So we're just going to put a decent amount of semolina. Now, if you were working with a gluten-free pizza, you would use polenta, but actually I find you don't even need to have this in a gluten-free one. So you can see that's my Neapolitan dough. That one just goes on there and I just work it out. Just using my fingers. Any tips, Claire, since you're the
Oh, see, my pizza making days were in a commercial shop, but I do a lot of pizza cooking at home. I actually will tend to roll my pizza into a ball first, the dough, and then have that sit to prove for a while. So it's almost like a double prove. So you have your dough out sitting for a bit, so it's nice and proved and soft. Then I would roll it into a ball and let it sit a little bit again, and then basically stretch it out, which will then give me more of a round shape.
Yeah, awesome. Actually, is that how your pizza dough was so round that time that I commented on Facebook?
Yeah, it probably would have been.
How did you get that so round? It was like it's like all over the shop, but I'm all for rustic.
Me too.
All right, so it depends how fat you want it. That's what we're going to do today. I just lightly stretched it out, and because it's quite, I don't know if you can see, but it's quite airy. It has been proving for quite a while. I made this at about midday. It's really light and it's not sticky anymore. So yeah, but what I can do is, if, you know, to Claire's point, roll that into a ball and then spread it out, give it a bit more time to prove and spread it out. All right, so let me just get the pizza sauce started and then we can head into making the next step.
So this one.
No, she recently cooked.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is called pizza sauce. And this is the one that is in the pizza collection on Cookie Do. It's very basic. I just use tomato paste normally, and I know Elizabeth said that she uses just tinned tomatoes. This is kind of a little mixture between the both of them. So the first thing we're going to do is, it says to set aside a jar, but I won't worry about that. I'll just chuck it in the freezer. 150 grams of brown onion and 2 garlic cloves. And we're going to chop those. Scrape down sides and add some extra virgin olive oil. Now, I'm sure you've all seen chopping onions. There we go. Saves you the hassle. If I'm doing sauteing, I do it on this Thermomix because it's where my vent is. I like to take away all of those onion smells. My Thermomix on my other bench is more for preparation, but they both tend to cook because, you know, sometimes you want 2 Thermomixes cooking at once. All right, so we're going to saute those onions for 2 minutes. Just leave the MC off to allow a little bit of evaporation. And while that sautés, I'm going to get the pizza sauce that I did make. So something I prepared earlier. This is the one that I'm making here. It's just cooled down. So I made this one last night. And as you can see, it makes a lot. I reckon I could do like 5, 6 pizza nights with all of this sauce. So I will be freezing this in portion sizes for, you know, 5 large pizzas, which is for my family.
It's a nice texture.
Yeah, and it doesn't come out with this texture. I actually blitzed it a little bit because in the recipe it just leaves it all chunky. And I was like, oh, that doesn't work for me. And what do you guys like on your pizzas? Checking my gluten-free one. I've got some artichoke here. I put a little bit of marinated artichoke. It's actually just a tinned one that I thought was convenient to buy. I've got some capsicum. I'm going to make this a nice vegetarian one with some meat on it.
When it's not vegetarian.
And here's the meat that I'm putting on it because I'm not the one who's going to be eating this one. I will be eating the gluten-free one. So I'm pretty sure the person who eats this one will be very disgusted I put artichoke on it actually. And mushrooms. But that's okay. Maybe it can be for my husband. He won't be fussy. It's only those children. And so that's that. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on. I buy bulk cheese. Hang on, back to the pizza. I buy bulk cheese and I just grate it in my Thermomix and then I freeze it. Costco sell big mozzarella balls.
I was just about to say, can I make a little tiny recommendation?
Yeah.
It's actually good to put just a little bit of cheese on the base of the pizza because it acts like a glue for the toppings. Okay. So you'll find that when you go to cut it, you'll have less chance of the toppings sliding off for when you pick your pizza up. So just that little bit of cheese on the bottom just acts as a bit of glue.
Great tip. Thank you, Claire. Because yeah, there's nothing worse than like pulling your piece of pizza out and all the toppings slide off. That's very annoying.
So essentially you'd be using the same amount of cheese, you'd just be putting half on the bottom and half on the top.
All right, so you just put less on top when you do that. Okay, so I put in 2 tins of whole tomatoes. When they're diced or chopped, the seeds can create a bitterness in the sauce. So if you buy whole ones, I find that's better for slower cooking. 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. And again, I buy all of my spices in bulk. So I think I bought 500 grams of dried oregano. Oh my gosh, took me forever to get through it. But it's so much cheaper. I think it's like $15 for half a kilo of dried oregano. Extra good quality, super fresh, smells amazing, like 10 times better than the stuff you get in the shop. And yeah, I just work my way through it. So I put in 2 teaspoons of that after my tomato paste and just a little bit of salt, doesn't have to be much. It says 1 to 2 pinches, and pinches are obviously different for everyone. So that says to put the measuring cup on instead of the basket instead of the measuring cup. It's like once I was doing a live to my branch and I was talking about yogurt, and I said, just put your yogurt in the oven. And I didn't even realize I said it until I rewatched the live, and I'm like, not the oven, the fridge. Okay, and the beautiful thing about your glider board is even when it's full of Thermomix cooking, you can move it around to a different spot. So we're going to leave that to go for 10 minutes at 100 degrees. It's so good having a helper who's reminding me about stuff. So that is actually good. So here's my par baked gluten-free pizza dough.
It smells good.
And so that, yeah, you don't need, it's going to slide on my peel very easily. So I'll make that one in a sec. Just make sure this is still, probably didn't want to sit this for too long, which I did, but that's okay. We'll manage. A little bit of cheese, and then we get to show you the good stuff, which is taking it out to the pizza oven. Right. Don't need to go too crazy.
Do you want to do the other one as well? But you have 2 at the back, out there.
Yeah, sure. All right, and then the gluten-free one, I'm going to just dress it very similarly.
With cheese on it first.
Yeah.
No, okay.
The other tip with the gluten-free bases, so once you've par-baked them, you can actually throw them in the freezer, which is what I tend to do. And then you can get it out and top it frozen, or, okay, here's Claire's tips, a little bit of cheese. Hold my toppings on. And this. There we go. And some mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms, but you know, like they're okay when they're sort of shriveled to a crisp.
Sorry, Claire, did I miss, why did you par bake the gluten-free one?
So it's too wet. It won't cook enough in the oven. It'll just, yeah, it'll be.
I noticed it was wet. So the other recipe that you mentioned from Quirky Cooking, you don't have to do that?
You still have to do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I find that the quirky one, it burns easier. Probably because I roll it out super, super thin. More like a paste, and you just roll it really thin. But these ones I just recommend for the pizza oven. And there is in that pizza collection, but I haven't tried it. I didn't particularly like the which I just find doesn't always work.
Mm-hmm.
I find gluten-free recipes where you actually melt everything in are 100% better.
All right, cool. My nephew just got recently diagnosed gluten-free, so I've never really cooked gluten-free, so it's like, oh, what can I learn? Every little tip counts.
Once you get used to it, it's really easy to adapt. You just got to find the right recipes, and they don't all work. So trial and error.
Yep, fair enough. Thanks.
So both of these are ready to go. I'm going to carry the pizzas, and Elman's going to carry the computer. All right. Oh, what's this?
Just turn the camera
Right.
around.
So it says it's on 400. It's on 360 or 70 degrees.
Sorry, please. I'm just trying to get this camera over here.
And so really, I just want to make sure it's movable, which it is. And
We can't see you, Claire.
Wait a minute. It's just there you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
You see me now? So it's nice and clean in there because I've been burning it out. So I just take that in the center. And again, I'm totally no expert at this, and I'm actually not the one who does pizzas. My husband does them all. But yeah, once it's sort of firmed up a little bit, you can start to give it a turn. I don't know what you can see on the other camera, but you've got this. This comes with your pizza oven, and this just helps you turn it. Can you guys see that cooking away in there? And it's like you're getting that beautiful rise on the edge. It's starting to bubble. And the Neapolitan does that way better than the basic pizza dough. It's amazing. You want to make sure it's above around that 350. So once I've cooked this pizza, I'll put the lid on, the cover on, and let it heat up again if I was to do another glutinous one. It does burn quickly as well, and the flame is only on one side, so that's why you want to keep turning it. Good.
It smells divine.
Elman, oh, do you eat gluten?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Elman will be eating this one.
Oh, here you go.
Although she did recently eat a lot of sourdough that Jodie made.
Yeah.
So
Oh, look at that.
you could probably do a little bit longer if you wanted.
Yeah, perhaps a bit.
And then I know my brother-in-law holds his heart. I mean, he's got a big one like what you have, Claire. And he holds it up to cook the top a little bit extra. Yeah, and then you just sort of decide, well, how do I like my pizza? Do I like it extra crispy? Do I like it a little bit doughy? I personally like a little bit of charcoal. I love that burn flavor on things.
Me too.
I reckon.
I think that
That's
is good.
pretty good.
Yeah. Look.
So there's that. Amazing. And just while that one, just get my little gluten-free one going.
That's not to see.
And I know that I said to put the lid front on, but the gluten-free one, it doesn't cook the same way. You don't need the same type of heat because the base is cooked. So you could easily follow a glutinous one with a gluten-free one. And this one really is just about cooking the toppings, crisping up the base a bit.
It's amazing how quickly it cooks the pizza, say.
It is. And the edges of the gluten-free one will burn slightly, so don't be alarmed. And if you don't like the charcoal, you can just sort of cut them off. But I do like those bits. And this one will cook quicker. So any questions so far?
Makes me want pizza now.
Oh.
I think
I
everybody's
know.
going to have some pizza tonight.
It's so hard to watch pizzas being made and not eat them because pizzas are so good. They're like the best thing ever. I'm going to be in Italy in October and I'm so excited because I love pizzas in Italy. I'm a bit nervous though because last time I was there I was not eating gluten-free and I don't know what it's going to be like. Has anyone eaten gluten-free pizzas in Italy?
Doesn't seem like it.
What stupid people would eat gluten-free pizzas? Jeez.
Do you want me to go and get that other pumpkin?
Oh yeah, so I'll take those inside. I'll be back in a sec with the pumpkin. One sec.
And that's what's so nice about the Ovana pizza oven is that you can cook other things as well, not just pizza.
Okay, so I thought I'd just show you guys this is one of the accessories you can get
Excuse me.
from the mix shop, and it's the Sizzle Pan. You can do amazing things on here. There's this beautiful baba ganoush dip, which I've done, where you just sear the eggplant in here and then you scrape it out and make this quick dip, and it's delicious. So you can do, yeah, your meats, and I like to do pumpkin. It is actually better if you sort of heat the pan up first, put your stuff on top, and then put it in the oven. But I just wanted to make it easy today, and it's only pumpkin. But if it was steak, you'd want to have it hot. This also comes with your pizza oven. It's just a big peel to get it off the board. I just find it too big. I tend not to use that one. So, but it does come with it if you got extra large pizzas and help funnel them into the oven. This one's meant to be just the turning peel, so just to turn it, but I just use it for both. This is also an accessory that you can buy from the mix shop. Does this come with it?
No, you have to purchase
So
it
this is a
separately.
separate one, and it just helps you scrape, and you can use that part and just brush the burnt bits out. There's also a cover that comes with it that you can purchase, which is just over here. I tend not to use the cover. I think it's good for traveling, carrying around. But yeah, that helps protect it.
Well, I put my cover on because I don't have a nice protective place like you have.
Yeah, right.
So it's always good to have it.
Yeah. And these extra boards here, I just got these from Kmart because when I first got my pizza oven, I didn't have any. And so I was like, right, I'm going to Kmart, bought these like $12 each. They're just a bit heavy and I've got really weak wrists. Well, not weak, they're just not very strong. Same thing. And yeah, so I bought a pile of those, and eventually I'll get all the ones from the mix shop. I've only got 2 from the mix shop at the moment. So the pumpkin will take longer than a pizza. We probably won't sit and watch it the whole time, but you can sort of, I think you guys can maybe hear it. It's not brown, not blackening yet, but it will blacken up. And I can potentially even just keep the cover on for that one. I'm going to put that on low so that it doesn't burn while we go back inside. All right, I'm going to show you guys this. You can buy this on the mix shop as well. So if you want all the accessories, go for it. And you just, I mean, it has been sitting for a little bit. I just do. The other good thing this can be used for is slices. Like if you do sweet slices, you can cut through and make it beautiful. But oh my God, check it out.
Oh, yummy.
Is it at the camera?
Yeah.
So look, and it's, you know, aerated, and it's just the right amount of soft and just the right amount of crisp. Delicious. Every time I see pizzas, I'm like, oh, I love pizza. And then here's the gluten-free one. Let me just show you the texture of this one. It's always a bit thinner. And I probably could have done that a little bit longer, which I actually might take it out there and do it a little bit longer, but that's, yeah, it's pretty delicious. Like it's not like, what is it? It's not like cardboard, it's firmer, but it's quite soft. So yeah, that's that. And then the other thing we had was the basic pizza dough, which I didn't even turn into anything. But as you can see, this one here, should we turn that, or is that okay like that? This one. Okay, cool. So here's it's actually quite light, like it's risen beautifully. And so that's where, yeah, you can then turn that into your pizza. And this one's easier to manage. So this is the one my husband always makes. He uses a rolling pin, which I don't like, but you know what? If you want it quick and simple, and then you can roll it out with your rolling pin. You don't get the same puffiness though. So when you use your fingers, you get those bubbles, those puffy bubbles, which are really great. You get less of that when you use a rolling pin. All right. And that's when I would then get my board, some semolina on. Enough to make sure it doesn't stick. You want to be able to move your pizza base around your board. And then, do you guys want me to dress this one? Yeah, we
I think
don't.
we get the idea.
What did you say?
I said, I think we get the idea.
Yeah, awesome. Oh my God, look how much stuff I've got. I've literally got one basic dough, which is going to make 4 smallish pizzas. I've got 2 lots of Neapolitan, 2 lots of gluten-free. So pizza all.
Pizza party at Claire's house.
Can I have a quick question, Claire? How do you recommend freezing the dough? Any tips there?
Yeah, so I would, for the Neapolitan, which is this one, I would just roll it into a little ball. Like it's already proved. So roll it in that ball and I just freeze it like that. And do the same with this one.
Just in a container? You don't need to like put in baking paper or anything? Or
Definitely in something that's going to stop it getting freezer burn. So probably just put on little pieces of greaseproof paper or baking paper, so little squares, so they don't touch, and then in a like Tupperware container or plastic tub. Yeah. So I would, yeah, that's probably, Claire, is that how you would do it?
I actually have never really frozen dough before. I've pretty much made to, what I need. It's such an easy thing to make.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I've never really frozen it, but I'm going to give it a go and see, because it is a quick, easy thing to pull out of the freezer, and especially with the Ovana pizza oven.
That's right. So look, I'd probably do this, put that on there, and then I'd get something like this, and have that, and then just have maybe 8 in here. Then it'll be easy to get out singly.
You could probably even put some semolina on the bottom of the baking paper as well, just for a bit of added non-stick sort of.
Awesome.
and thawing, sorry, how do you think that would just?
You want to get it out so that it comes at room temperature too. So I'd probably get it out either in the morning, maybe even the day before, and put it in the fridge to sort of start its thawing out. Yeah.
Cool.
So you don't want to probably do that at the last minute. You won't be able to. You won't be able to get up to it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it would be too long to leave it out from the morning of. Yeah.
If you've got a good quality flour and you haven't done so this is already proven for ages, so that's not ideal. What you want is, as soon as you make it, freeze it and then put it out, let it do its big brew. So getting it out in the morning is totally fine. And as long as it's a good quality flour, like if it's a good quality 00
High protein.
flour, then it will be fine to prove all day.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. So here's the pizza sauce. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little bit chunky. Because it had the whole tomato. So what I did, because the recipe's finished now, put my measuring cup on, and I just went to speed 4 or 5. I think 5. What you don't want to do is blend it at like speed 8 or 9, because it will release the bitterness from the seeds of the tomato, and it will go bright orange. So there, you've still got a little bit of texture, but it's got the whole seeds and it's a little bit smoother. So again, I've got a lot of pizza sauce, so I'm going to freeze that in, I don't know what portions. I'll work out how much I would need for 5 pizzas. And I think, was that, oh, let me just check the pumpkin. You guys wait here, I'll come back.
So you're going to make that pizza sauce. That looks amazing. And I think you can use it for so many other things too. It'll be nice in a quiche too.
All right, so what you can see, I probably would maybe turn, actually you can't turn it in the oven, but I could sort of turn the pieces if I wanted. So yeah, look how it's already cooked, like super soft. And I really love the burnt bits on pumpkin. So you can see that it's cooked through soft. And I just,
long.
no, I put those on my pizza. Oh, probably need a bit more greasing. Actually, I didn't grease it. Grease it next time because it's a bit hard to get off. But yeah, that one would probably go a bit longer. So there you go. So quick and easy to roast your vegetables, whereas in the oven it takes ages. Any questions? We're good? Amazing. Okay, so who's motivated to go and make some pizzas, try some different bases? Does anyone not own a Thermomix yet? Any non-owners? The other thing is if you've got friends who you want to share in the excitement of having a Thermomix with, let them know that until I think tomorrow, tomorrow's our last day, full day of this offer. Where you buy a TM6, you can get a half-price Ovana pizza oven. So it's $295 for the pizza oven instead of close to $600. And it's just such a fantastic accompaniment to having a TM6. So if you're looking at upgrading or you've got friends who you know would love and benefit from a Thermomix, let them know about this offer. Otherwise, yeah, get them, host a demo and show them what it's all about as well, because that really helps build our community of Thermomix people. And, you know, we're all passionate about what it can do for us. So yeah, that's why we love sharing it and hang out with you guys on a Saturday afternoon making pizzas.
So just a heads up, it actually ends on the 22nd at 11 o'clock. So that's Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
No, 26th.
Yeah.
22nd Monday?
Yeah.
Monday.
Oh, Monday. Yeah.
Monday at
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
I just try not to say Monday at 11 because people are like, oh yeah, Monday. That's all right, I've got all day. Monday, early in the morning, you've got to make that decision. If you don't make the decision by 11 a.m., you miss out.
Just do it Sunday.
Yeah, just do it Sunday. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for your tips, Claire, and everyone for joining. Go out there and have an amazing Saturday night, and Elman and I will start eating some pizza.
Oh, yummy. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.